facing head-on the emotions beneath the surface as we bridge from an old world of confusion and lack to a beautiful new world of freedom, abundance, and love with straightforward truth and inspired hope is what you'll find on The Charla Anderson Show. Collector and connector of fascinating people. And everyone is fascinating. Here's your host, Charla Anderson.
Good, beautiful day, you beautiful, beautiful souls. This is Charla Anderson, host of the Charla Anderson Show, collector and connector of fascinating people, and everyone is fascinating, especially you. So grateful that you would join us today. Here we got on Win-Win Women, the incredible Win-Win Women Network, the Poditize, the podcast company with Roku and live streaming with all of those services, and just beginning to really find my way in this this TV world. And I'm so thrilled to have one of the most soulful people I know, Ashly Torian, here with us today. And I want to tell you all about her and have her tell all the amazing things she's doing and what she's done for me, actually. But I'm going to do our little breathing exercise first. So every week, I always try to center us just a little bit and have a little mini vacation, so to speak. So we're going to do 22 seconds of a breathing exercise. It's going to be 7 seconds in of breathing in calm. We're going to hold it for 4 seconds and then breathe out gratitude for 11 seconds. So if you will, just give me join me and take a little break here. Here we go. Breathing in calm. Hold. Release, relax, release, release. Gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank you for joining me with that. I feel like we could all do that a little bit more often every day. And my guest today is a master at doing that sort of thing. Ashly Torian, is a show host with Ashley's Heart Song on Win-Win Women Network as well. Every Monday at 3, I believe, is Central Time. And Ashly, thank you for so much for joining me, being my guest today. This has been I mean, when I first started looking at Win-Win Women, I happened to see your show, and I watched, and I thought, that's the most calming and sincere and just sweetness coming out of you and for your show. So thank you for joining me. I would love for you to just kind of introduce yourself. You've got so many things to talk about and so much to share, and you're doing so much. And just say a little bit about who you are and why you're here and what your mission is, and take it off.
Charla, thank you. I am so honored to be with you on your show today. Thank you for having me. And that just brings joy to my heart that you saw the show before you even joined in as a show host, and how that was for you and that experience. And that means the world to me. Thank you. Thank you. But what a pleasure it is to be with all of you today. I would say my mission in life, my goal in life, is to help people, to guide people in changing their state of operation. In today's world, it is fast, speedy, busy, chaotic. That's the belief around how life is. It's flowing, it's going too fast. And my goal is to help people stop and smell the roses, as an old little cliche quote, right? But it truly is. And that comes from the years of anxiety. So when I was growing up as a child, I remember being just this worry wart. I was filled with worry all the time. I had those huge, enormous jets that were rolling through my tummy nonstop. I was always worried. I was always scared. And that led into my younger adult years as a life of anxiety. And that is no way to live. And when I speak to young moms today and they're living in that anxiety, it's like, oh my gosh, that does not have to be your reality. And so that is my mission, is to help people shift that so that they don't live in the chaos and the stress burnout, but also so that they don't dive into overeating, binge eating, not exercising, just all of the body dysmorphia and the eating issues that come up, because the anxiety that I had led to body dysmorphia, over exercising, being afraid to eat. I was more on that end, afraid to put a morsel of food in my mouth. And so it's just, there's no sense in that, in destroying this beautiful temple that we have. So that is my mission in a huge nutshell.
And you exhibit it so well, what you're, the peace that we all, the peace that passes understanding. I believe you've grasped that. I believe I have too, in most cases, but where you, no matter what happens, we're at peace, because where we are is all, this is the way I say it, where we are is all we have. We don't have last second. We only have this second. And you can handle things so much better if you don't be in upset or be in out, past or future. You're just right here, right now, and you can actually handle what's going on, even if it isn't good, with a better calmness of sense of character. But I wanted to ask you, why do you think, was your family tense? Why do you think as a child you had so much tension and worry?
Yeah. So I was one of those kids that or babies, when you're coming down the chute of the birth canal, you decide, you go, oh, I want this, I want that. Ooh, I'll take that on. Ooh, I can overcome that. You just kind of bring it all in, because my family was really, it was really cool. I had a great family. There are 5 of us kids. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She was a homemaker, and my dad ran and operated businesses, but he was very involved in our life. He was not one of those absent dads. If I had a track meet or a cheerleading event or anything, my dad was there. If he wasn't out of town, he was there. And usually he didn't travel when us kids had our events. And so I grew up with both mom and dad being there with my siblings. And if it hadn't been for my sweet sister, Jamie, who knows where I would be today, because she is just like 20 months older than me, 18 months older than me. And we were just, like this. And it was, she was my rock. And when I was going through anxiety, she was one of those people that I thought, if I could just get to Jamie, if I could just get to my mom, I would be okay. If I could just get to Robert, those were the 3 people that I would call on so that I wouldn't jump off the cliff. Right. And so as far as family, I don't think it was anything in there. Now, maybe there was, who knows? I doubt it. I don't feel that way. I just only have loving memories around my childhood. But I really believe that I am just one of those that pulled it all in. I just thought, oh, I'll help this generational dis-ease, I'll fix this generational disease. I'll fix this one. And sometimes in my adult life right now, I think, what was I taking on? Why in the world would I choose to be the one to change this generationally? Why me? Why me?
Good for you. So you really, you told some stories about the moment when you chose differently, and it's all choice, right? Everything is choice, and we take it on, and we can choose how we act and react. And it's not, people don't really receive that often very well. Sometimes, it's not my choice to do. Well, it's your choice how you react, but most of us are automatic in our actions and reactions. So you found a moment in your life that just was I call it, my book, Split Second Transformation, Change Your Words, Change Your Life, 31 Daily Practices. I do believe we can change in a split second, at least a mindset, which changes everything. So was that something in your experience?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Did you want me to share that story?
Sure. if you
of
want
my
to.
split-second transformation. Yeah.
You know, the Reader's Digest version, if there's still such a magazine.
I know, right? Yeah, so it was when I was living with the anxiety, my kids were little, and I still had to do life. I was still working. I was doing 2 jobs, personal fitness trainer, and then my dad's company at the time was a ladies lingerie direct selling company, very classy stuff. And so I sold that in the evening times to earn extra money for our family. So I was doing quite a bit, but it got to a point where the anxiety was just suffocating. And I would read a story to my kids every night before bedtime, and the miracles of Jesus. And one of them was about this sick woman who just knew that if she touched Jesus' robe, she'd be healed. I'm not going to go into all the details of the story, but I read that story over and over and over again, and began imagining, and in my meditations, I would imagine myself touching that robe of Jesus and being healed of anxiety. And I would put myself in that position, in that situation. And I began to be able to just really kind of manage the anxiety. And it's so fun, this journey that I was on, because I really learned what faith really meant. And there was one day, probably 5-7 years later, I don't remember the timeline, and I had again learned to manage and live with it. It didn't overwhelm me so much anymore. But I was driving from my home in Louisville to a client that lived on the other side of the airport. And I'm going through the airport tollway, and an anxiety attack slammed into me that was as intense as the very first one. And that very first one lasted for 365 days. It lasted a long time. And when that one slammed into me going through the airport, I thought, oh my word, there is no way. No. I knew right then, oh no, I have a choice. I could live like I did for 365 days in fear of everything, or I could touch the robe of Jesus. I very well can. I can do that. I have access. And so I did, in my mind and in my heart, in my physical body. Every cell within me drew up, and I am driving through that airport, and I am reaching out toward my hand through the windshield, right? I'm in the Jeep and I'm reaching my hand out, and I'm like, I know for a fact that this can leave me. And by the time I got to my client, it was gone. And I remember thinking, wow, there is no residual, no nothing. And if you've experienced anxiety, you know about that residual. It can last and last and last and trigger another anxiety attack and trigger another, but the residual was gone. And I remember, and I think one of the most important points to this story and to our ability to access faith is that you must believe it from the moment of your experience, and in every moment moving forward, every single moment. There's not a matter of any doubt coming in. I remember speaking the truth of it. I remember feeling the truth of it. I remember talking about it with my mom and with anybody who would listen, what happened to me, and speaking that truth, and that solidified it, anchored it in. Whereas I think so many people lose it when they lose the faith, the gift of faith, when all of a sudden they go, oh, but could it really happen for me? I mean, after that fact, if I had said, oh, God, are you sure I'm worthy of that? Or if I had felt like I wasn't worthy of receiving it, then it would have gone away. But that's the thing about faith. When we have faith and we believe with every cell of our body, and we show it in action, in feeling, in our mental processes, when we show it and express it, that's when we just anchor it in even more. And we are living the faith. It's awesome.
I keep looking, outrageously courageous, bold faith, no fear. Step towards the gun is the name of my forthcoming book, probably early next year. But who I say I am is bold faith, no fear. And when I was robbed at gunpoint right here, that faith, your words matter. So that faith was who I am. I had said that for so many years. Who I am is bold faith, no fear. And when I had that moment and I was able to step towards the gun and say, y'all need love, and they ran without fear, we're on the same path on that. And split second transformation will be launched, I believe November 30th on my 70th birthday. So that's like forthcoming as well any minute. And then, but I had a moment of split second transformation and from bitterness to joy. And I'm like, well, if that can happen, and I watch people, their every word matters. Every word matters. And we just sometimes just don't take that on. We don't believe it. We don't believe it for ourselves, or we hopeful, or we think this. And the one thing I wanted to say, in that split second moment of transformation, it's permanent. It wasn't constant. I mean, but it's permanent. That was in 2007. So this has been a while. I want to add that quick, but so
Yeah.
Ashly, this is, the time always goes so incredibly fast, but from that moment, you have been now developing retreats and workbooks and writing and all those things that you've built a business, a vitality coach business, and you're an author and you're a speaker and you're doing a lot of amazing things. And in my mind, I spoke at your event, which was amazing and fun, and, get to know so many amazing, I don't want to say that word again. Amazing. I said it 12 times, but because you are, and then I went to your retreat, the Armor Up retreat, where we created our own heart songs, and you guide us through that. And tell us what you're doing. How are you doing that? Who's coming to you? Who do you serve? What is your, where are you right now? Where are you headed? And how did you get to that, where you already have created so much content? And I admire you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, it has been such a wonderful journey, a beautiful journey. It was a journey through the physical world. So personal fitness training is where I started. Eating psychology, mind, body, nutrition. I was kind of in the middle of the journey. And because of all the fear of eating I experienced, the digestive discomfort, and then all of my clients, were receiving results and then losing them, receiving results, losing them. And I thought, okay, this is not just a physical journey. We are so much more than that. We're a soulful body, we're a spiritual body, and we're a physical body. We're all three. So how do we work with this amazing vessel in order to live our best life, so to speak? So it was that journey through my own trials and tribulations with the food and the body, but then also the emotions that came from the anxiety, the belief systems, the patterns. And so when I'm working with someone, whether they are a binge eater, an overeater, whether they have body dysmorphia, or whether it's someone that is just stressed to the max, their life is in chaos. They don't know how to schedule things. Their schedule is all over the place. They put too much in their schedule. So it's the person that I look for is the one that is really just not living their life. Their life is living them. And it shows up with the eating, the lack of activity. It shows up with overspending. It shows up in the way they schedule themselves. It shows up in their emotional balance. So however it shows up for a person doesn't matter as far as I'm concerned, because we approach it from the same place. And that is getting the soul, the mind, the heart, and the emotional center, which is the home of the gut brain. It's getting those in alignment, and the head brain and the gut brain following suit from the heart. And so what, a lot of people coin this as their mission or their why, but I felt like it was so much more than that. Because when I would ask clients to set up, okay, what's your why? Why are you working out? It was always for my grandkids or for my kids, so I can get on the floor with them. And it's like, I'm sorry, but that is not going to inspire you when things get really tough. It doesn't. As much as we love our kids, as much as we love our grandkids, that will not inspire you. If it did, you would already be in the health that you would like to be in. You would already not overschedule yourself. You would be balanced. Your time management, all of that would happen easily. So it's not that, it's about who you are and what you were created to be, what you were created to provide. And that's your heart song. And so like my heart song is, the song of my heart is to live from my heart so that I am open and free to be and share the beautiful gift of peace that God births within me. I align myself with my Heavenly Father in this way, so I'm filled with the energy and the vitality I need to share this beautiful gift and encourage others all along the way. And I use that in moments when my head brain wants to jump on a problem. And when it starts going down that rabbit hole of a problem, I go, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm choosing the peace that was birthed within me. And I say my heart song and I feel it. And I remember the energy and the vitality that comes with that peace. And then I can get back into alignment. And so people say affirmations, and I guess it is kind of an affirmation, but it's so much more than that because it's who you are. And you, when you come to a retreat, attend an Armor Up program, you get to design it. And we work with that. We clear out all the muck and we fill you up with all the good stuff, and your heart song can be created easy as pie. Yeah.
Well, I did it, and I will in the Q&A set. So we'll have we've got some guests and our visitors that we can visit with in a little bit, and so maybe during that time I'll share mine if it works out and feels natural to do that. It's pretty powerful.
It is.
And for your, I mean, you've just done so many things. And so one of the things I wanted to ask you about was quotes. Oh, I always like to find out what's your favorite quote. And you had Morgan Freeman, I think. Oh, and Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle, that is my favorite. That's one I remember all the time. Yeah, that I like to phrase, because how we feel at any given moment is creating the world in which we live. And so it is really about your state of operation. That's what my whole business is based around, is being in tune with your body. I mean, like Charla, have you always been in tune with your body, or at first were you just kind of disconnected from your body and didn't quite get it?
I probably, more than anybody I know, I don't pay attention. I mean, I will get a sticker or a splinter or something, and 3 or 4 days later going, I probably got, that kind of hurts, been hurting. I mean, look, I have walked on it for 3 days or something, So I probably pay less attention to my body, also because you get, what you focus on is what you get, what you attract. So I try not to focus on things that I don't want, for sure. I believe that's a huge thing. I don't believe in getting sick, so I don't get sick. That's not arrogance. It's authority that we've been given. And it's not, and so I just don't think about it. So honestly, I'm probably not the best example of all that for you, because I don't really, and because of your workshop, I've, every so often I'm trying to remember to go, how does that feel? And it's a new muscle for me, for sure.
Yeah, it is. It is a muscle you have to build. I agree with that. And I love that you brought that up about what we focus on, only continues to grow, because what body awareness is, and I want to share this with the audience and what that means, because it's such a great identifier. Body awareness is only about being aware of your state of operation and what's happening inside you, not to bring in more, but to go, oh, wait a minute, that's not peace, or that's not joy. What am I doing? I'm in anger. Why am I in anger? Why do I feel anger in my chest? No, I choose joy, right? So it's being able to identify. Otherwise, we walk around with that physiological mess And that physiological mess creates dis-ease. And so I coach people on, once you identify the physiological mess, you emotionally resolve it. And in my workshop, you learn how to emotionally resolve. And once you emotionally resolve that out of your body, it's so much easier to step into the joy, the peace, the happiness, the love, the truth, the faith, right? When we get out of that, because that was just stirred up by a fear thought. And we don't want those fear thoughts. We want to delete them, but they're in our subconscious mind, y'all. Subconscious mind is filled with those negative patterns and the fear beliefs. We're human. We're having an experience on planet Earth.
Yeah, exactly. We're spirits trying to live in this physical world, and it's a little tricky sometimes, and that's why you're here. So you want to tell about the bow and arrow, right? You want to talk about your graphic that, you've got a whole workbook and a workshop around the, getting out of the anxiety and living, being more present, I think is.
Oh. So the bow and arrow is just the symbol for the heart song. And it seemed the best way to help people to understand about a person's resonance. So we were just speaking to body awareness and what we feel in our body at any given time. So when you're creating your heart song, you'll notice that feeling that it generates inside you is so different from the normal feeling that you wake up with. It's elevated. And so when we first get started in the morning, we pick up our bow and we remember that our target, what we're wanting to do in our day, in our month, in our year, 10 years, whatever it is, there's a target out there. And in order for it to come to fruition, it must have the same frequency as the heart song. Because if it's an elevated target, meaning it's something that you've always wanted and you haven't lived it yet, but you would love to live it, well, it takes being a different person than you are today when you woke up, right? It's a more elevated person that reaches that. So when you wake up in the morning, you want your heart song, your bow, and the arrow of you to be the same frequency. Because when the bow launches, the arrow, which is you, and it will make, and when you are in frequency, so the arrow, when it's in frequency with the bow, it will do a direct shot and hit the target. You are in alignment with your heart song. However, if you wake up and you're not getting into your heart song, if maybe the old patterns and thoughts are coming through your mind, then when you launch your bow for the day or your arrow for the day, it's not going to be in that frequency and it will not land in the target. So when we wake up in the frequency of our heart song and we launch ourselves through our day, we will experience a totally different day and results of a day than if we had just gotten up with the old pattern of thought that we had before. So it goes into a lot more detail, but that is the essence of it. Is, you don't want a bow that or an arrow that, kind of vibrates like this and then drops. You want it to go right to the target, right? And so that is the essence of the heart song. Mm-hmm. Yeah, changing your frequency so you reach that goal that you have always wanted to reach.
Right. Oh my goodness. So you also talk about time and how we can, the way I say it, thank you for redeeming my time. Your timing is perfect, mine not so much, that so one of your, I guess, topics or whatever, methodologies, oh my gosh, is redeeming time of in some ways, and making, and who doesn't need that? I don't care what you're doing. If you feel like you had a few more minutes in a day or hours in a day.
Yeah. Because like when we were getting on, you were sharing what had transpired for you. And it's like, a person could so easily go into the spinning chaos and muck puddle of all of that could have created. But no, here you are. rested and joy filled and peace filled and faith filled. And here you are delivering that. And it's like you say, it's a choice of what we're going to do. However, when someone doesn't understand the scope of time and how time actually works, it really is beneficial when you can finally learn that, because when you don't, it's chaotic out there and the schedule's too tight and there's too much on my plate kind of a feel. So what I teach people is to, the very first mind body nutrition technique I teach anyone who walks in my door is the power of slow. And we work with slow eating first, so we can open up and wake up the gut brain. And we begin with slow. And why do we begin with slow? Because that changes your state of operation. When you attend your life in a parasympathetic state, which is a rest and digest mode, that is when you are at ease. When you are attending to your life in that state, time expands. When you attend your life in the chaos and the busy and thinking, I am so busy, thinking, oh my gosh, things are so chaotic. When you're thinking that way, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to live chaos.
You live that way so what you think about, you get. And that's another example of that. And when I thank you for redeeming my time, I lay it at your feet and just, I'm driving, a lot of times it's in rush hour, you're trying to get somewhere and there's not really, you don't have the possibility of opening up traffic and all that necessarily. But if you just release it and let it go and not, I do that sometimes without even watching speed limit or without watching, and I'm like, just, I'll be there when I be there. There's nothing much more I can do. And it makes it's just an easier way of living.
Oh, it is, isn't it? It takes all the pressure off. Takes all of the pressure off. I love Louise Hay's affirmation around time. It is, I have time and space for all that I need to do. I am at peace. I have time and space for all that I need to do. I am at peace. And when you do that mantra over and over and you just realize, I really do have time and space for everything that I need to get done today. God gave us 24 hours in a day, y'all, and we need 7 to 9 hours sleep. You can get everything done in 16 hours. I promise. You can't. If you didn't, then it wasn't supposed to be done today. Divine timing is everything. So you may think you were sitting on your laurels, but what if you were redirected that day for something else, because what you thought you needed to do today really could not be done unless the you of tomorrow showed up. So the you of today may not have been able to do it. The you of tomorrow.
Gratitude is a key, right? So I didn't mean to talk over you, but gratitude is huge. And so when I, for instance, get, you're driving and you get somebody's pulling you over and I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will say thank you to them and go, perhaps, thank you for breaking up my day here, that maybe one of us we were supposed to bless each other perhaps, or one of us is missing something that could have been worse as something happening. So, I was like, will you still be grateful if I gave you a ticket? Well, I'd be more grateful if you didn't, but that's okay.
I'm wondering, have you ever been able to talk anyone out of giving you a ticket with that mantra?
I don't know that it was talking out, because that's not the point for me.
Not the point,
it's not the
right.
point. The point, but a lot of times, I do remember one time he's like, I said, look, I don't know if we're just supposed to bless each other or if you're supposed to be, something has been prevented that could have been down the road worse or whatever. So just be blessed, and may you be blessed. So may you be blessed. And so, yeah, I didn't get a ticket at one time. I did one time. I don't get pulled over that often, so it's not. But it's kind of a fun story.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, when I was younger, in my younger years, driving a Mazda RX-7 in college, I wish that I had that. I wish I had that concept at the time, so I could talk myself out of all the tickets that I got.
Right. Well, it's just something to consider, that it's wherever you are is all you have. And if you bless it, it will it will lift everything around you. So that's kind of key. So here, I'm going to go ahead and let's maybe open it up in just a couple of minutes. So first of all, your demeanor, even, your whole demeanor. And when I say when I wake up, when I leave to go somewhere, I was like, let my light shine. Just let me be a blessing to the surround, let the aura, or whatever, just shine. And you do that so well and so naturally. You just ooze that calmness and peace and the things that you're teaching us to be better at. So I'm so grateful for that. I want you to talk about how people can find you, what's coming up, what you want everyone to find, get on your Facebook. How do we do that?
Yeah. So I have a group called Vibrant Soul Reboot, and I'll do Facebook Lives in that and give out fitness tips, health tips, vibrancy tips, Qigong tips, anything about the breath, mind body complex, you name it. I will regurgitate it all inside that group and teach you everything that I have been taught in my journey so that you can share in that and create your own peace.
Is it a free group?
It is a free group. Vibrant Soul Reboot. And I've put those of you who are live, I believe I can put it in the chat. Yep, all I gotta do is press send. There's the link to join. And at the end of November, so we're at the end of October now, but at the end of November, I'm gonna have a free workshop event that'll be an hour for 3 days. So it's an hour each day. And in that, we'll be talking about the body-mind complex and getting into that state of ease so that we can create that life that we truly love and want to live in a peaceful state. So I would love for you to join me. There's lots of education given in that group and in the free events. So be sure and tap into that. I'd love to do life with you. Love to do life with you.
Oh, that's awesome. So that the free event is November 29th,
November
30th, and December 1st, if I'm not mistaken. And that's because that's my birthday.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So, so they find you on that link. You've got also ashlytorian.com, or, you probably have.
Yes. Website is ashlytorian.com. And just remember my name is L-Y, no E.
ASHLY. It's a unique spelling, and I'm sure it gets confused sometimes.
Yeah. Or you can just message me through Facebook or find me on Facebook, Ashly Frederick Torian.
So I'm going to spell it all out because when it comes out on podcasts, right? So they may not seeing it. So ASHLYTORIAN.com is a good.
.com. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure all the information is in there, and
yes, all the information about my show. My show is Ashly's Heart Song on the Win-Win Women TV network, and also it's on podcast, and you can get to all of that through my website, ashlytorian.com.
Well, before we open it up, is there any last thing you want to say? Are you ready to just listen, see if anyone has some questions or comments to we've got live visitors today, which is so fun. I don't have a whole lot of live visitors, so this will be fun to do.
Very fun. Yes, let's just jump right in. I think I've talked enough.
I hope you got everything out you wanted to say, which is never, it's just short time, fast time, right? So
It is, but no, this was really fun, Charla. Thank you.
So, okay. So the official part of the show is over, and I always end with, hey, I love you and you're beautiful, and, you can't do anything more to be loved. Can't do anything to be more loved, more or less by God. You are loved as you are, unconditional love. And you just are perfect exactly who and where you are right this minute. And I tend to choose, always want to say choose joy, because you said that while ago, choose joy. And my name ends up meaning joy in Greek. So I tend to end my official side of the program. I always say choose joy, but we're going to continue recording. So and we'll also be continuing the live streaming. So if bring you guys on.
We have Sarah and Dimra and Cindy and Tanya.
Hi, all y'all. Hi. I know
Thank y'all for
Tanya.
being here today.
Hi guys, I'm driving, so I'm sorry that I can't do video, but I've been listening and I always love hearing what Ashly has to say. And I think what really resonated for me, Ashly, too, is what you were talking about. Like, if you were gonna do it for your family members or your kids, you would have already done it. And that is just something I feel like I'm learning this year a lot about myself, that others can't be the focus of my motivation. So that was just really good. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think one of the questions I have for you is, what is it like when you have a different eating plan than the rest of your house? How do you manage that?
Right. So when my kids were little, I was cooking a couple of different dinners at night. So I was cooking mine, and then I would do Robert and the boys. And sometimes you just have to do that. So my eating was very simplified because it was whole foods. And so it was easy to put that stuff together, especially with the way that I meal plan. The way I meal plan is cooking all the meats on the weekend and storing them away, having my vegetables either frozen or fresh. The fresh ones are washed and put in green bags and chopped. Everything was ready to go. So with my meal, I just had to throw it in. And with the guys, I could cook them whatever was on that agenda for that night, which made it wasn't too heavy as far as manual labor goes. But then my world just opened up. I have an independent husband who was raised with a working mom. And so he knows how to cook for himself. And so now I just kind of take care of me. It's really a really nice thing. And a couple of days a week, I bless Robert with a gift for me as far as a meal goes. But otherwise, he does a pretty good job on his own of doing what he wants to do. So I think it does depend on the season of life that your home is in. And when you have those young kids, us moms are responsible for that. And we teach them too. I taught my kids how to cook, and they would be in the kitchen with me. But you might have to do two different things at first. Yeah. Sorry, Sarah.
Okay. No, that's helpful. My husband's really independent, like yours, and he will do his own meal prep. But I think it's just when the kids are with us, it's a totally different dynamic. And sometimes I find myself like eating tater tots on the side. And I'm like, I don't want to eat this. So yes, that is the challenge, but that's helpful. Just planning ahead.
Yes, planning ahead. But Sarah, you also said something really important just then, and that is the food that they're eating, that you're serving them, could be a temptation to what you are wanting to do for yourself. But when there are tater tots on the side, and gosh, those crispy edges, and when you bite into it, the oil and the grease, just yum, yum, yum. And so when we think about that, then we, go, oh, just one or just two. And so what I did whenever I was tempted was, and this is kind of weird, I guess, but Robert would get a donut on Sunday mornings. And I always loved donuts, but I just couldn't eat them anymore. So I'd say, Robert, just let me smell it. And so he would just let me smell it. And I would just let all my olfactory senses just come to life and be able to smell it. And it really did satisfy me. Have you found that, Sarah?
I haven't tried it, but you're giving me an idea. So I'm going to try this.
Yeah. And then sometimes the tater tots or the French fries, when you smell them, they don't smell as good as you thought they were going to taste. So that will typically keep you from wanting to eat it.
Yes. Okay. That's
another point that if you're going to eat something. So I remember reading one of the ladies, if you're going to eat it, love it. I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to eat it anyway, is not helpful to your body. If you're going to have a big old piece of chocolate cake, do not let it feel guilty. Let yourself savor every morsel. And I do believe that the guilt thing kind of stores it in us more than just the actual food. So
Okay.
that makes sense to me anyway. What do you think, Ash?
Yeah. Well, that is the power of pleasure, which is a mind-body nutrition technique. And when we take pleasure in the food that we're eating, we involve all of our senses. So it's exactly like you said. You get all into it, you enjoy it, you take that first perfect bite, put it on your palate, put your fork down, and allow the taste buds just to wrap themselves around it. And you chew thoroughly, you swallow, let the bite land in your stomach, take a deep breath, allowing the diaphragm to massage the gut and get that stomach juices churning it up. And then when you're ready, you take another perfect bite and you just go slow with awareness and that pleasurable feeling of yummy, I love this. And typically, Charla, and you've probably found this, when you do that, you don't eat the whole piece of chocolate cake, you eat just a few pieces and then you realize, oh, I'm done. Because one of two things happened. Either you really did get satisfied with those, or you realized this did not taste near as good eating slow as it did eating fast.
Or just, yeah, but just savoring to me, that's one of my words this year. And so that's precious, but also the not, yeah, but who, am I going to regret this later? Yes, but who cares? There's a way of actually shifting that, which I did several years ago when I lost quite a bit of weight. I was like, tomorrow, will it have mattered that I had this thing or not? And I was like, well, how many meals in my lifetime are so memorable that it mattered the next day? A few, but not many. And so shifting it from, am I going to regret this? Yeah, but so what? I'll worry about it later. Or to tomorrow, and projecting that a little bit further ahead. Tomorrow, will I feel, will it have mattered if I ate it or don't eat it? And usually you can kind of minimize that regret side of things. It worked for me back then.
Yeah, and that's like an intuitive eating technique. I love the way you worded that. Will this matter tomorrow? The question that I'll have people ask a lot is, is this in alignment with what you're wanting to accomplish? And how will you feel in your body once you've eaten it and you go out to perform in the way you need to perform for your talk? Like, let's say before I got on here today and it was lunchtime, it's time for me to eat, because at 2 o'clock, I don't eat anymore until 5 o'clock, because there's the sun kind of takes a little dip and our energy takes a dip. So we don't want to eat between 2 and 5. And so it's like, okay, so I need to eat. Well, I want to eat something that when I'm on camera with Charla, I feel good. I have clarity of thinking. I feel light. I feel joy filled. I don't want the sluggish. So I eat in accordance to what I want to feel in that next moment of my life. So it's very similar to, does this matter tomorrow? I love that, Charla. That's a great way to ask that question. Yeah.
And unless you're going to, never have it again, like, you're going to have a tater tot again, right? So unless you're never going to have it again, or you're at a special place, most of the time you can at least push it down the road a little bit. If you start asking those little questions ahead of just shoving it in. I was a flight attendant a lot of years, and I would, sometimes we wouldn't have anything to eat. Sometimes we ton of leftover, meals, and it's like, but we always were fast eating.
Yes,
so anyway,
yes.
It's easy to just walk by.
I think we went to the same school of life, because one of my mantras that I say to myself when I'm faced with a food that I would love to eat, I say, I can have it anytime I want. I just don't want it right now. I can always have it. It's never going to go away. The opportunity to have that chocolate shake will always be present. I just don't want it right now. And if you keep saying those things, then you end up not having it for a month at a time.
Right. So it is just tiny mind shifts. Mind shifts are everywhere. So, okay, we're down to the last 10 minutes. So I wanted to ask, does anyone else, I was going to read my heart song and show it to you, because, and it's kind of, when something is so personal it's a little bit, it might be awkward. So for some, or to understand the wording, right? So, but because it's for me, not for anyone else. And would you like me to do that?
I would love for you to. Y'all, Charla's heart song is so amazing. And what is so beautiful about her journey, if I may share this, is that it was created, on the weekend retreat. And then she has like done little bitty tweaks, and she's so sweet because she'll send me the little bitty tweaks and how she changed it. And she's creating it to where it really speaks to her and it draws her heart. And you can hear it when you see the words that she's used to formulate it and how powerful these words are for her and her journey. You can really get that sense. So yeah, if you would love it, great. If it's, yes, is
I'll
up
do
to
it.
you.
So a few, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, I got a word from someone that, you need to step into the queen energy. You're in princess energy and you need to step into the queen energy. And so this year, my word besides completion was regal and savor. Those were 2 other words I had. And I wanted, and you see my crown, right? This is, I don't wear it, but I have it because of the energy that I want to develop more and more. And so when I wrote my heart song, and it has been embellished or shifted a little bit, and this copy doesn't actually have the final good word on there, but I'm going to say it anyway. So, as the queen, regal and poised, savoring every breath of life, I am joy and peace, with bold faith and confidence, so that I fulfill my purpose of radiating light and love and raising the vibration of the world. And so it is. So I actually created this meme, I guess, or a thing. It doesn't have the word savoring. I just added that this week. I can't center it. Anyway, people might think it's arrogant about this queen thing, but it's not it's for me, right? It's for me.
Yeah. And we don't come from that place of arrogance, right? But you're right. That's that ego world. And we're not residing in the ego world. We're residing in the centered, aligned, peaceful world. And that's different. The words mean something different when you're in that world. And Charla, it is truly beautiful.
I think it was the week after, I was at an event the next week or so at a hotel, and I was down, just walked in to go get the morning breakfast or whatever. And there was a lady doing the waffles over there, and she turned around, and I was just in jeans and t-shirt, she turned around and she said, "You are radiating. You are, and I was like, oh, wow." So she had an oxygen tank, and we ended up chatting, and I sat with her for almost probably 2 hours, and they were doing a long-term stay there while they're in the move and stuff. So, but she said, "You have helped me so much." But when you make that your intention to step into what you want your energy to feel like or look like or seem to be, but it was, it gave me chills to then and now. It's a special time, and I feel like she benefited a lot. Just she needed somebody to talk to, and it worked out that I was able to. What I love to do is encourage, and so that was part of the thing.
That's so beautiful.
And
wow.
after having written that, right? So that
yes, it's like, see, Charla, you are this. It's just like one of those, little nudges that reminds you. That's so beautiful.
Well, I'm so grateful. Does anybody else have a quick question? Or we only have a couple of more minutes, so we've got totally shut it down at 59 after the hour. So
there's a few chats.
Oh yes, thank you. I don't have my chat open.
Sarah was thankful that you shared your heart song. She said it was very beautiful. And I'm so glad that Sarah and Tanya are going to try the smelling of the food. It really does. It will tell you whether you need it or not. Oh, and then sweet Dimra. We love Ashley. Amazing. Aw. Dimmer, I'm so glad that you made it on. Yes.
Sorry I'm late. I was on the phone with the school and now I'm transitioning. I got to go up there. So I'm listening while I'm getting ready and changing, but I love you. And it sounds like I missed some really good nuggets and about the whole eating and all that. I'm excited. If I could get the replay, I would love that.
You bet. I will send it over.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Actually, you'll probably get it this afternoon, and it'll come out on Vimeo. I'll send the Vimeo link to you.
Oh,
I'll
perfect.
edit. I'll add the bumpers and send it to you this afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
Or tomorrow at the latest, and then it'll be out on podcast. I think November 9th, I think I said. Anyway, in the next couple weeks, we'll have it on podcast and blog as well on charlaanderson.com.
Yes.
So thank you all. Thank you, Ashly. I'm so grateful for you. And I think, I can't wait to spend more time with you. So you're a special one. And Tanya, of course, I know and love. And I'm grateful for the other visitors to come in and participate. And it's amazing. So every week I'm live at 1:00 Central Time on Wednesdays for the foreseeable future. And so on winwinwomen.tv. So please join us every week. And thank you for joining us today. And I always will end with choose joy.
Parting is such sweet sorrow. The Charla Anderson Show. Encouraging you to stand strong and courageous with bold faith, no fear, immense hope, kindness, and love, especially towards yourself. Visit charlaanderson.com for replays, blogs, and more on her ever-expanding website, as well as watch her live TV show on winwinwomen.tv, Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And so that we can continue learning together and growing this community of beautiful souls, we invite you to share the Charla Anderson Show with your circle of friends. Until we meet again next week, remember always, choose joy.